Ryan, Justin, what's up?
Yo,
What up, man?
I can't wait to talk about HGA. No.
Stop.
Oh my God! Right into it.
You were pushing back on even.
Welcome everybody to another edition of Cardboard. Today we're doing a quick roundtable with the gang.
I
know it's kind of the elephant in the Zoom.
Fun 24 hours, man.
Holy cow!
It's the worst, man.
Honestly,
I saw T-Murph getting attacked today. When T-Murph is just getting dragged, there is something wrong with what's going on.
Hey guys, HGA did a bad thing. I was like, shut up, Murphy.
Dude, it's a lot to take on when you start. Their supporters started they're just relentless. Honestly, it's been nonstop. I've probably had like 12 guys like literally just coming at me, and they're just baseless. Like honestly, confusion. It's just confusion. You know, they're just down for whatever it seems like. And
well,
I think
it's the wrong thing. They're like, well, other companies made mistakes. It's like, but when you're coming, I think, was it Brad or you, JB, or someone, man, he's like, when you're coming into such a tight niche in such like a strict market where things are so well established, you can't have like spelling errors. You can't have other stuff like that.
Yeah, man, it's funny. You know what it reminds me of is like, I always kind of like consumed like Barstool content like here and there, right? Like they have some fun, like they bring in a bunch of funny guys and like different folks. And, you know, I get that like some of it is seen as like sexist or whatever, but I never really had that much of an opinion on Barstool, but I knew like the Stoolies are like relentless if you ever say anything bad about Barstool. And it's actually like, I feel like Barstool gets a bad name from the Stoolies a lot of time, just relentlessly attacking people. And I got to imagine that this is what it feels like. If you ever say anything bad about the brand, the fans are just, I mean, dude, we pointed out that an artist just didn't get paid. Like, oh, here's a piece of art. And like, is this guy getting paid? Maybe he is, maybe he's not. And then like, we're just dragging for 24 hours. It's a mess.
I mean, when I posted that, granted, I probably could have done that with a little bit more tact, but I didn't think it would come to fruition so quickly. I literally posted what I thought was more of like a joke. And honestly, I just didn't want to have to do the research myself. Like I didn't want to have to look for graphics and stuff. I knew from the second I saw that warrior that was a clip art piece. It had a background imagery circle in it. The feet were off the sand. It was obvious what they had done. I knew what they had done from the second I saw the post. So I put the contest up, and I probably could have approached it a little differently, but it was more. It was more out of laziness than anything.
You got a quick response too.
It took 8 minutes for them to find. It took 8 minutes for them to find 2 examples of the wave, and exactly where the warrior had come from. Which I mean, there's a whole nother layer to that where, like, the warrior is not even this. You know, the same. It's just ethnicity, like it's just bad, like from head to toe. And if you didn't cringe when you saw that slab like originally, like I'm probably not going to agree with you on your take on the slab in general. Like there were so many things wrong with that. Like
the fundamental issue with that though is that like it would be one thing if that is the first and only issue that they've had. But they have failed to do the blocking and tackling that is necessary to be equitable inside of the space. Say that, hey, we're going to go out and design number 44 template that looks like was also stolen, but we can't even do the basics right. And then they kind of put back themselves in the corner and say like, hey, like, why is everybody coming after us? Well, you guys can't even spell Dwayne Wade's name right. Like,
the amount of like. It's marked auto, but there's no auto on the card. I mean, error after error.
And the hard part is that everyone comes back and says, hey, you know, BGS makes mistakes, PSA makes mistakes, and they do. But the problem is that the denominator that what we're looking at from a defect rate is so different. Yeah. When you're only grading 2,000 cards a week, or this week 6,000 cards a week, and you have a 7, 8, 9% defect rate, like it's got to be high as hell. I've gotten back 1,488 cards from last March from PSA. I've had 0 issues. So it just blows my mind that people can't just do just like basic
Honestly,
fundamental
it's a
math.
desperation thing though. Like the hobby has come to a point where people are so desperate to get their slabs and they want this quick flip. Like a lot of the people that are arguing with me, like when it comes down to their base argument or why they're so upset, it's because like why they're so protective of HGA is that they're able to get these quick cards in 14 days or whatever their timeline is. I'm not even into it that deep. Like that's the thing, is like I was out on HGA from the minute I found out that the technology was fake and that was all a fraud, and they removed it all from their website. Then I was like, okay, that's enough for me. That's all I needed to know. When this slab came up, it was the only other time I've ever commented on these guys. And then for everyone to say that I'm like, I have there's this witch hunt after these guys and everyone's after them
and
trying
on
to
that,
take them down. It's like it's not reality. That's not true. We're pointing out major flaws. Like if this was pointed out now, it would have been a much bigger problem for them down the line. Like even like 2 weeks of production down the line would have put them in such deeper water. Like why can't people just accept the fact that like they were doing something crazy? Like that was crazy reckless. It's crazy reckless for what they
and I think like an important thing to note too is like we all like I don't know how many people in here grade or don't grade or whatever, and like I grade mainly with PSA, like, but competition is good. Like bring it on, man. Like I'm all for sure. Like have new companies that have cheaper grading, they have faster turnarounds. I have not once said a negative thing about CSG, who's claiming a lot of the same thing. Who came out around the same time. So why on earth do I have some vendetta against HGA? I couldn't give a I don't care at all. I just continually see error after error from like my friends like Brad and other folks who just post them. You know, I see someone today, the D Wade, like the guy is trying to defend HGA. He's like, yo, my slabs are sick though. I'm like, yo, Dwayne Wade is spelled wrong though. Like, I mean, like I have no reason to want them to fail. And I want competition, but if the competition is, I'm not going to be like, yo, this stuff's great. I'm going to be like, these people are stealing artwork. Like,
right. I mean, that's the other thing. Right. It's not like they came into the market being like modest either. They came in literally guns ablazing. They're trying to knock out PSA in one day. It was like wild what they were saying they had. And so they built this base, like this really loyal, like, for some crazy brand affinity they have.
It's like a Facebook group.
It's something.
Which is funny though, because I had a conversation on Sports Card Nonsense podcast today talking about the subject, and I probably had the most cordial conversation between like 7 or 8 dudes on the topic. It's like, hey, like everyone's pointed at this group specifically because of our commentary on it yesterday, but it was. None of us are trying to be gatekeepers with inside of the grading space by any means. I think the biggest thing that all of us care about is that there is a ton of history of scandal, recklessness with inside of the hobby, and every single time it dents the credibility to everything that everybody's trying to do. And so even more so in the past 18 months, when this thing has just went to the moon, like of course all of us are going to be guarded as shit of it. I mean, we have boxes of cards that are worth some cases hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like, yeah, I give a if this stays afloat.
I know, but a lot of people like that are staking this claim that the reason that we're trying to knock this company down is that we're holding massive amounts of PSA, or I have a ton of PSA or whatever. Like that's a crazy world to imagine, right? Like that's all of these things intersecting, and my little voice, or like our little blip, like having enough of an impact, or like that HGA could even grow and take like a percentage of the. Like it's just a crazy disillusion these people have.
I think it's probably the last thing I'll say about it is the one thing I noticed is obviously their niche and their gimmick is their labels. That's like their thing. They scrapped AI and they said labels are our thing. To not have the insight and foresight to say we're gonna be doing custom labels, let's get this artwork locked down. And they literally sit there and show a non-commercial license. I have no clue what a non-commercial license is, but I think it means you can't use it commercially. So I kind of got that from just kind of reading it. So when they did that and they were like, hey, Mooch, it's non-commercial though. We can use this for commercial product. It's like, dude.
They also conveniently
it's that narrow minded
below that, which very
right. And then one more thing that I'm disappointed in, because I don't want to say I'm 100% sure, but I'm like 99% sure this guy's not going to collab with them in the future. I feel like they did a quick little, hey buddy, let us use your art. I promise we'll get you down and down the line.
Well, I got the communication from the guy. I'm not going to put the guy on blast.
Right,
I want him to get his money. Like, I really hope this guy, it turns out great for him. But like, he basically said that, like, they rushed, they did not, we're never going to pay him in the front end. It came to him in a rush once these posts started happening and trying to make good for it with cash, obviously, and you know, for PR purposes. And then once he agreed to something, he said they wanted to rush out a social media post, you know, saying that they have this agreement. The agreement's not signed. There's nothing in place. It's literally just verbal stuff. But there, again, the unprofessionalism of this company, just take that verbal agreement and run with it and make another statement. It's just,
and you know, man, like how it is in like the graphic design space, like sure they'll probably pay him for it, but I love is again like misinformation, which is like all these people saying, oh, they hired him, it's disgrace. I mean, they say they said like they'll pay him for some work if they do some, like they may never work with him on anything. They just said like, hey dude, keeping the door open, if we ever need you for like a little thing here or there, we'll let you know. I mean, he's not coming on full time. Like,
I know. And if you read the details of their posts on Facebook, it's actually so hilarious. They're like, "This is one of the most creative guys we've ever met." They met him like obviously between like a certain hour today. They talked to him for about an hour. They must have been really blown away on this conversation that they had with him from an artist.
And he seems like a fine artist, but
he's fine. But he's based in Egypt. Like, they just met him. Is it like, how many other creative people are you talking to? If this is the most creative person you've ever met in your life and you met him like an hour ago, you know, like the credibility of this and like the unprofessionalism of all of it is just seeping through the hinges. And like, for people to just turn a blind eye to that out of desperation, it's like, it's just another example of where we are in the state of this hobby.
I agree. And just to cover bases, I am team HGA. I think they're running a straight ship. I think that they're above reproach. All the bros that are subscribing to what they're doing, I'm down with it. You guys are my guys. If you're watching, I'm team HGA all the way. These guys are just a bunch of haters with the number 8. Love you guys, everything, you know. That's me. I don't know who else, you know, on
grabbing
this
the
right now.
Yeah, grabbing the followers.
But if you like it, buy it. If you don't,
I can't afford. I'm so close to 5,000 followers on Twitter. I cannot lose HGA nonsense.
Tyler opens a safe of HGA slabs. Just it's like, me and my boy Gary V love HGA. Let me talk to y'all about this.
I think one of the main things this is running through my mind is, and I think this was already said, I want to see them succeed. I want the company to do well so bad, because like JB said, if I could get my cards graded for cheaper and it sells for just as much, you know, that would be fantastic. You know, and the only reason we're all so passionate about this is because we care about cards and the hobby so much. And like we said, you know, some of us have, or all of us have, you know, a certain amount of money invested into this. And so to see all this happening, we want it to succeed because it's what we care so much about.
Well, I mean, that's why you want it to be legitimate, right? Like, you want it to be legitimate and built the right way. Because like, people talk about this bubble, they keep talking about this bubble. Like, I can actually see this crap forming. Like, I think that the 2021 card prices are a huge part of this bubble that people are talking about. Like, I don't think there's going to be back end ROI like you've seen in past years, and people are paying the most they've ever paid for stuff right now. And like, some of this bubble will also be like these companies that just probably don't exist in a few years because they just weren't able to operate properly. You know, I honestly think the HGA has a great business model, and the next company that basically takes it and doesn't f it up and like just completely run it into the ground like they have and just make every mistake you can make. Like, someone could honestly learn from what they're doing right now, get a decent financial backing, and make a huge run for everything that they've already built and do it a lot better and a lot more seamless. And like,
CSG is basically doing the same thing without the art labels. I mean, they're running similar prices with similar turnarounds, and kind of, you know, making sure that they can take on what they are doing. And you're not seeing any of this backlash, and we're seeing slabs come out. They're doing okay. I know I saw Herbert that did pretty well, but it's just like, my question is like, why are we not hearing it there? Like,
right.
no reason that any of us would have any sort of vitriol towards HGA. I didn't even know what it was. I saw the label the first time. I said, that was kind of gimmicky. We'll see what happens. And I see one, Brad, who's a good friend of mine, is like, he's got these coming in. He's frustrated with them. People are having errors. People get 2 cards back, and then they have to send both cards back because they're both wrong.
Right.
Like, there's not massive amounts. And so the frustration is only geared towards them because we just keep seeing it. And yeah, it takes away from the entire hobby. It makes us all kind of look like jokers. If someone comes in for the first time and this is what they see Dwayne Wade's name spelled wrong on this like crazy label. They're like, what are you guys doing? Like, what?
And that's what I don't understand too. Is like how this company, like, again, because they came out swinging with the PR stuff, and they came out with this crazy tech that never ended up being there, which I still don't even know how people continue to follow it based off of that. Like that alone to me is like you just kill it. You kill the idea.
But that's part of the user base though, right? Like with like anything, like you have people that participate within any specific hobby, things in life, and people are different. Like Facebook card part of this hobby is a lot different than Twitter, and blowout forums is a lot different than Twitter. Like they're all different groups of people. There's very, very little overlap that people dabble in both. I think a couple things from this is that, like, in retrospect, like the grading boom is one thing. I think that the biggest opportunity is that people just want a hood ornament for their card and a way to protect it. If I'm a new company and if I'm like, hey, I got a couple $100,000 that I want to throw at something, is that like I don't even grade anything. I just go and I make really sweet labels. I focus that I can have spell check in on that thing. I have 30, 40 different templates, and then I'm just going to slab it. And here, my guarantee is I'm going to keep your card safe and protected. I'm not going to grade it.
Yep.
So yeah, exactly. Top loaders that with one of those little helmet things that they have on it. I think the other thing that hasn't been talked about though is why we are here in the current scenario, and it's because of the backlog at PSA and at BGS. It was the most perfect storm in the world of cards booming. The company that wears the crown is located in the most strict state where COVID was concerned. They couldn't hire people. You couldn't work with them. They came out and they said they hired 170 people. At the same time, they had raised prices once. Well, do you understand why they raised prices? Not because they want to make more money. It's because when you hire 170 people in the state of California, the overhead to do that is absolutely unreal. And there's so many people inside of this space that lack just the basic business acumen to understand that. And it's frustrating to look at. It's like, I want to pay more so you guys can hire more people so your turnaround times do improve. Like they've already announced that they're going to reinvest all the money back into the company. They're AI on the front end, AI on the back end, because that's where it should be used. And that's where the amount of process it takes. Not only that, you can't go out and hire 50 graders tomorrow because there isn't 50 people that are qualified for it. So I just, the whole scenario has been just like, I look at it, I'm like, how do we get out of it? And two, like we need to start decoupling like wants from the customer. And I think honestly, the people that use HGA, they just want a hood ornament. Great. Shift your business model.
Yeah, I mean, and that's fine. Like if that's what they want to do, that's fine. If you know everything you know about HGA and you're at the end of the day, your decision is like, hey, I still really like their slabs, then like who's to stop you? But I'm just saying, like long term, I can't recommend that for your cards. Like I just don't think it's going to be something that carries over time. I really don't.
I think that they're buying an idea though too. I don't think it is just only a hood ornament. I think it's this because like invest is like in everything, man. I think that there is this movement that they had, which was like, and it probably gained steam in the Facebook group that in places that we haven't maybe seen, but I can feel it. That is like, we're going, and it's kind of in their marketing language too, which is like, we are going to unseat a PSA. And if you join us on this rocket ship, like you are going to make a ton of money. We're going to get you in. We're going to turn it around quick. You're going to skip that line that is over there at PSA, and we're going to send you on a rocket ship to the moon. And then when we come out and say like, this rocket ship seems kind of sketchy, they're like, you shut up. You shut your mouth. You don't take away from my dreams. And I'm like, whoa, I just saw that it was misspelled or something, man.
Here's one for you. Here's basic math. So up in like at the recent weeks, they were grading 2,000 cards a week. That's how many cards they were taking. If we assume that the last update that PSA had 10 million cards in their backlog, to equate that much turnout, it's 96 years.
Us talking like poorly about them or bringing up like their errors, like whatever they want to call it, is like our method of protecting our PCs, like the values of our PCs. It's like seriously the most laughable freaking thing I've ever heard in my life. Like it's like that. That's such a long dream. You like hold on to that for a while, yeah, buddy. Like, and a lot of these people who have been attacking me are a lot of the same types. Honestly, they're the 18 to 24-year-olds. I think a lot of them are new in the hobby. A lot of them are new to Twitter. Like they're not people from the community. They're not like they're not recognizable. Like
people who think that you're in their pockets. That's the problem. Is there people that came into this space as quote unquote investors, and they think that you're reaching into their pockets by your quote unquote hating, which is the most absurd thing that I've seen in all these conversations. Is
that's what I'm saying. It goes back to investing.
You're a hater. You're a hater. No, you're just pissed because you think that I'm reaching in your pockets, and that's not what's happening. By pointing out an error that's a company that's supposed to be based on moral standings and have a background of, oh, we're exercising proper business practices. Oh no, you're in my pocket. No, I'm not in your pockets. I'm pointing out an error that an upstanding company wouldn't make. Period.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's been an interesting, like JB said, it's been an interesting
a lot of
24
truth to
hours. I'm pretty exhausted in the HGA conversations. I think we all agree.
We all
want
are
nothing but the best for every competitive grading company out there, and I hope they drive PSA's prices down, turnarounds faster. I'm all for it.
I hope that the next company takes this idea and does it better. Honestly, that's what my hope is. Some company that has more money, come out and do it. There's definitely a demand for it. Come out and do it right.
Hire PSA's top 5 graders.
Yeah.
Someone keeps saying that. I think it's not a bad idea. Say, I will double match your salary. Just come be the
Dude, yeah, you want to make a PR splash? Make a move like that. Seriously.
You're only going to touch over $2,000 cards.
Oh, perfect. And you can work from anywhere. We'll mail the cards to your house.
Right, we'll mail the cards to you. We'll have a $500 raw minimum. So you're not going to get Clyde Edward-Helaire college inserts. You're just going to get like Curry stuff or Dwayne Wade or LeBron rookies or stuff or Jordan rookies. You'll just get the best stuff, and we're going to showcase our talents as being the most reputable luxury and actually do a tuxedo label. That'd be disgusting.
What about like what is the comic book grading company?
CSG.
The comic book version.
Don't they?
The comic book. Well, their grading, their sports grading is CS.
Well, but they have a Marvel like partnership, right? Like that's how they're able to put that artwork up on their slabs and stuff, because you see the copyright
on the comics.
Yeah.
I don't know if they do. They might.
I saw it on Twitter. It was floating around on Twitter. Someone posted like, "What about this?" And then someone highlighted.
I'm pretty sure they have.
It's a partnership, and so like that premium is obviously built into their comic grading, which is like they have it figured out. That's how you run proper business. Like that's how you
foresight
do it.
to know they're going to do that.
That's the same company I was talking about that is also under the net of NGC and the coin world as well. Comics. They own PMG, which is the a currency grader, like old vintage currency and all that stuff. Their net is so wide. It's that they do comic books. They just did the cards, the CSG, coins, paper money. It's pretty.
What the big leagues should do, what the NBA, what the MLBs and the NFL should do, is honestly partner with a group like that and enable them to make grading slabs with their logos on it. That shit would be the true rocket ship, JB.
Yeah, and when CSG launched, like they launched with 2 graders, and the guys have been in sports card grading for like 25 years each, and that they did whole bios on them and their backgrounds. And so when they launch, it's like, yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of credibility, brought to this conversation and to the product.
What if you took it one step farther? And this, I don't know why I just thought of this. So what if this new company came in and you get the license from MLB, and say you have a Matt Chapman update rookie, there's no serial number on that or whatever. What if you had you could incorporate what we all love so much, drops, right? Oh, reserve your spot to get your, whatever it is, update rookie, this and that. And the first 50 will get a serial numbered slab, So then it's like, oh, I have the Matt Chapman, 26 of 50. I got the jersey
Yeah,
number.
yeah, I think that's really interesting. I think that could catch on to me. Like if you guys watch the like when Ken Golden sat with Logan Paul for the Pokemon break and all the
Didn't see
it was awesome. It was so good.
No, I saw it. Ken, and of course I got into a thing with Ken.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, have you guys seen his kid? His kid's a little wizard. They stream on IG and they rip boxes. Man, his kid's got to be like 4.5, 5 years old, just spitting out names left and right. Like,
I mean, imagine.
I'd actually really
the exposure that kid has had to cards.
I've actually really enjoyed Ken all of a sudden being like, because his Twitter was inactive for a long time, and he's also
kills it, dude.
back and posting stuff all the time. And I'm like,
once a day, he's like, look at this heater. It's just like,
no, he dropped a Durant today that I was like, oh my god.
yeah.
So like I watched that Logan Paul thing, and like with that though, like to kind of your point, they're gonna have like the Logan Paul polls on the.
Yeah, I saw that. They have like the
like that's cool. So like if PSA starts exploring with that, honestly, with the money that PSA is getting, and the fact that like some of that is through athletes and stuff, I would love to see PSA take it to the next level, as a stand, with like the major leagues and like actually do stuff like that. I think that would catch on. And it would be
like have something if they have a huge break. I mean, you could even do something where you get why am I totally blanking on the huge breakers everyone always dumps on?
Platinum break.
No, the guys that Leighton. Like you could do you could have like a Leighton slab, where Leighton has a deal with PSA or a deal with Beckett.
Right.
And it's like the Leighton series. It's like, I got this in the Leighton break or something.
Right. Yeah. See, I think that hasn't.
Think all the little stickers we would remove out on all the one touches because that. Also, CGC, they said certified guarantee company has announced 4 brand new Marvel certification labels that they do have license to. That was in January of 2020.
Cool. That's how you do business. That's how you do business properly.
For what it's worth, I want my breakers to keep their names off my slabs. But that's
too.
I know. I was just.
It would be an interesting.
I had the conversation with someone about Logan Paul's slabs, and I was like,
"Yeah, you don't want Logan Paul to have a PR.
If I get a first edition Charizard, I definitely don't want Logan Paul's name on it." Like,
it would be kind of. I mean, to a certain crowd though, like it would be kind of cool. I mean, if you put yourself into the mind of the people who spent what $30K on those packs or whatever, like you would want Logan Paul. Jimmy ever pulls me some heat, I definitely want Jimmy on my PSA slab.
Yeah. I'll tell. Yep, I would want that.